Hello, BookTube. Well, it's Friday, which is not Thursday. Thursday is Poetry Thursday, but all week long, this week at least, I haven't cared what day it was. I've read you a poem every day, and I've been happy to do it. It's been a lot of fun and a great release. But Poetry Thursday was the typical day for poetry, so I was pleased to see that Aaron Facer, your precious Aaron Facer, did a Friday poetry reading. And his Friday poetry reading, I'll leave a link to it down below, featured generous end rhymes. And although his was a kind of a nonsense poem, and he did a wonderful job with it, I immediately, when I heard that, started thinking about end rhymes. Of course, I am from an era in which end rhymes were standard instead of unheard of now. You would get booed off the Cantab stage if you try it, unironically. But when you think about end rhymes, when I think about end rhymes, I automatically think about Alexander Pope, who I think mastered the form, the trick, better than almost anybody. So I'm going to read you an Alexander Pope poem today. It's a free country, right? I can do that if I want. I'm going to read you a poem that is near and dear to my heart. I hope I do it justice. The reason it's near and dear to my heart is because it's pretty much a description of my job. So let's see if I can do this justice. This is called The Power of Ridicule. Ask you what provocation I have had? The strong antipathy of good for bad. When truth or virtue an affront endures, the affront is mine, my friend, and should be yours. Mine as a foe profess to false pretense, who think a coxcomb's honor like his sense. Mine as a friend with every worthy mind, and mine as man who feel for all mankind. F. You're strangely proud. P. So proud I am no slave. So impudent I own myself no knave. So odd, my country's ruin makes me grave. Yes, I am proud, I must be proud to see men not afraid of God, afraid of me. Safe from the bar, the pulpit, and the throne, yet touched and shamed by ridicule alone. O sacred weapon, left for truth's defense, sole dread of folly, vice, and insolence. To all but heaven-directed hands denied, the muse may give thee, but the God must guide. Reverent I touch thee, but with honest zeal, to rouse the watchman of the public weal, to virtue's work provoke the tardy hall, and goad the prelate slumbering in his stall. Ye tinsel insects whom a court maintains, that counts your beauties only by your stains, spin all your cobwebs o'er the eye of day, the muse's wing shall brush you all away. All his graces preaches, all his lordship sings, all that makes saints of queens and gods of kings, all but truth drop dead-born from the press, like the last gazette or the last address. That's the power of ridicule, where Alexander Pope is saying that's why he mocks the things that he does, because it has a power that is alone vouchsafed by God. It's the only thing that tyrants and tin-point dictators fear. Truly fear, because they can't stop it. It's stronger than they are. And I love the part at the beginning of the poem where he says that it's his duty, that he is called to ridicule. Alexander Pope spent a great deal of his time when he was writing poems ridiculing the famous and pompous figures of the day. I have a feeling that he would have made a first-rate book critic in a previous age. Not in the 21st century, where so much of regular muckabout in the trenches book criticism has now become just an arm of publicity PR departments, where the truly bare-knuckled book review that says both positive and indisputably negative things about a book, those kinds of books, at least for the penny press, for actual printed newspapers or online venues of an ordinary nature, those kinds of reviews are vanishingly rare now. Once upon a time they weren't. I'm not talking about a hatchet job here. I'm talking about something that is perfectly willing to mock a poor work, that has the gall to charge you $35 in order to enjoy it. So naturally, I immediately went to this poem because it, I think, ought to be, if Pope were read, which he isn't, but if he were read, I would think that this would have to be the anthem of, for instance, among other people, critics like myself, who hold no truck with that. I have to play nice with editors. In some places, I have to play nice with editors. Some editors have a policy that we won't spend space on negative reviews, which means your review has to be positive. And some of them go even further than that, and they don't even seem to realize that they're doing it. Some of them say, well, we don't run negative reviews, which means there shouldn't be any negativity in your review. Those two things don't go together at all. We don't run negative reviews. We prefer to give the space to books we can praise, is perfectly justified as a philosophy for running a book section. It's not my philosophy, but it is perfectly justified as a philosophy. But that in no way means that you don't say anything negative at all about the books that you mention. No book is free of negative criticism. So I wish that more critics knew this poem. But they don't. so I will just enjoy it by myself. And it's from the Oxford Book of English Verse there, from the Helen Gardner version. We're just bouncing around all of my tried and true poetry anthologies. But I wanted to leave that. I wanted to include that here because A, Pope doesn't get read enough on BookTube or anywhere else, and B, we were flirting with end rhymes, and end rhymes automatically make me think of Pope. So there's your poem for today. I'll wrap this up for now, but I'll very likely be back with a poem tomorrow. Thank you, BookTube.